welcome to the Toronto Ultra Merk and Maven podcast. Joe and I here with another fantastic episode. We've got an amazing guest, the Dark Prince himself, Envoy. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing well, Prince of the North now, you know. Come on, had to change up a little bit.
I like that.
I got a bow.
So what's going on with, like, we're going to talk obviously about the move to Ultra. I guess just real quick before we talk about how much it makes sense and how excited we are for you. And congrats, by the way. Where are you at with like this whole process? Just kind of like mid-move, figuring things out?
Yeah, so I'm like a month and a half, 2 months out from moving to Toronto. Obviously going from LA to Toronto is no feat that I ever expected or planned for. So just still trying to figure out the logistics. Obviously cross country.
Staring at boxes
Yeah, I got boxes all over my house. But I'm excited, man. You know, Toronto is really fun every time we go there. And it's just something new.
Oh, we love it. Like, I swear everyone is so nice. Like, listen, I know I'm a good commentator, and I'm at the point in my career I don't really like need gas per se, but I swear to God, I've got like a nitro petroleum in me when I'm there. Like, everyone's so nice. They're like, thank you. They're just like so friendly. No, it's definitely one of Joe and I's favorites. Joe, by the way, you haven't slept in like a month, right?
Well, last night I did. We got a new plan. Sleep regression is real. It is real. All my parents out there know, but we're figuring it out. We're good. He's gonna get there. I'm all right.
You're figuring out the formula.
Exactly. That's what it is. Yeah.
Bro, this guy gets on in the morning. I look at his face. I'm like,
Well, the problem is,
20 hours did he
12
get?
hours, right? Like for 5 months, and then
he
just wakes up one day and he's like, I'm actually done with that shit. So we gotta get him back to that. So yeah, the last couple of weeks have been rough, but we're good. We're good now, hopefully.
Well, for those of you that have watched episodes, hopefully you've enjoyed them. Similar format here. We're going to talk about Envoy's career, but we're going to start a little bit differently because obviously the big news is him going to Ultra. So from you, Envoy, I just kind of want to hear, why was this the logical choice? Why was this the decision?
I was kind of talking to you guys beforehand, but I feel like my last couple Rostermanias, I feel like I've done everything. Like I've joined or I've had someone join a core team of 3. We've built new rosters on Huntsmen and LA Thieves, and now it just kind of like makes sense for me to join a core team of 3. Obviously, you guys scrap, rookie of the year last year, 99 overall, whatever it may be. Absolutely gross. And then you got Jamie and Toby, which I know they weren't in the league necessarily in BO4, but I would like consider them like my class of, when they came up. So they've been consistent through and through, like all the CDL years. And it just makes sense on that point. I mean, I think like I'm like the player that they need, or that can fill all the gaps and do whatever it takes. So it just made sense in that terms. And obviously they just got second in champs. So why wouldn't you go join the runner-ups?
Well, I guess I'm curious. Obviously, maybe not the result you guys wanted, but making that decision, was there anything like that would have kept you at LATs? Were there any other options? Did you guys all kind of know with Sam's decision, like this is kind of done type thing? Like, was that it with Sam retiring? Was that sort of like, well, shit, we all have to go somewhere else?
Well, I thought someone would take the reins, right? I figured. But...
Yeah, I mean, Sam's thing maybe had a little bit to do with it. Obviously the 2 years we had were like really up and down. So like, I don't know what like the kind of vibe would have been after we just got last at champs and first the year before. So I feel like something would have changed, but it's more or less that I feel like our team has a lot of pieces that other teams need. For instance, like you got Zach going to FaZe now, which I feel like he's like the perfect upgrade for them. And then Ken going to OpTic with Pred. Like I feel like those are no-brainers after Zach went to FaZe. So I feel like ultimately like it was just destiny that we were all going to split up with like what other teams needed, and like that's kind of how the cookie crumbled, I guess.
I mean, and Matt was pretty open about it, about the money spent, right? I mean, I'm sure that was probably a thing for them too. Like, how financially are we going to figure this out? It sounds like they're resetting or doing some sort of reboot from the LAT side, but I am curious because there were a lot of rumors before Ultra. I'm sure that people want to know, was OpTic back on the menu, or was that just sort of, you're like, nah, that's not happening?
I obviously did my due diligence and like talked with like Aunt Bruce and them, doing my bit of scheming, but like ultimately I was kind of telling you guys like, bro, when Pred's on the market, like they want the next big thing, you know, or any of these teams, any like Pred is the next big thing. Like I feel like he hasn't had the results like he's been looking for like the last 2 years. He's obviously done well for himself, and like they beat us a bunch of times. But like you can't pass that up. You know, I'm not like I have clear vision when it comes to that. You know, I know you know people's intentions when you talk to them. It's like, yeah, maybe I did talk to like OpTic a little bit, but at the end of the day, like like what you guys heard the whole year, like bro, they want Pred. There's no way they don't. Like
Yeah, no, literally, like I would join his chat, and it was just like, yo, when you join an OpTic, like what? And then I don't know if you watched the video, Maeve, but he was on like the podcast or on like their OpTic cast or whatever, and he was just like, dude, I didn't know what to do when I would go on stage and everyone was just yelling OpTic Pred. He's like, I didn't know what to do because it was hilarious, but like
I'd be checked. I'd be so checked out.
That's exactly what he said. He's like, bro, I'm so checked dealing with this when I'm trying to compete and win. So
I wonder if like I wonder if that's like oddly going to be a good thing, because I think like for him specifically, we don't have to dive into it too far, but like, you know, there wasn't a lot of expectations for Seattle. Like, you know, we knew what they were, but now, I mean, Pred's is a different ball game. Playing for OpTic, that team, like there are fucking expectations. So I don't know, maybe he's sort of like half been in the spotlight already for a little while. So maybe kind of used to it. I guess one thing I'm curious about, with your decision, you know, we think of like, there's a lot of different ways to play COD and teams find success in different ways and the title changes year to year. But when I think of like the past several years, the two teams that come to mind, like really trying to play disciplined COD, play the right way, is probably Ultra and Thieves. Did that play a big part in the decision? Sort of like a little 1-to-1 there?
Yeah, I think I'm a firm believer. Some people would like super disagree, like within the scene, like coaches, players, whatever. Like I'm a firm believer in like the roles thing, of like what teams need to exceed, and you kind of need to fit like the slow AR, fast sub, you know, faster AR, faster sub, or whatever it may be. So
any team that's found success
is like that, is built like that. Yeah. So I'd say like for like the Toronto team that I'm on now, like CleanX is probably the only person I can compare to is a BZ at like pace he's matched. He's like throughout all the years. I don't think there's any other person that comes to my mind that has done it like consistently. There is very few people that hit it like, you know, maybe stage to stage, but it just makes sense that I join, you know, another sub duo too that plays a lot faster than me. Obviously, I found most of my success with like Thieves. When me and Ken, like, we were kind of like, I guess like free to do whatever we want. Like sometimes he'd be fast and I'd be slow. Sometimes I'd be fast and he'd be slow, and like it kind of worked. But like I said, with the whole roles thing, I believe it doesn't always have to be like that. And like CleanX is an anomaly when it comes to he's super fast, and I could kind of be back to, I guess, what I used to be and just kind of chill more, or not chill more, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm not known for being that fast guy.
Piss people off. Yeah, piss people off.
I picture it like, kind of like, you know, let's think Prime, Simp, and BZ like in Cold War, right? Simp just had this knack for making plays, finding gaps, finding routes, just being annoying. In Control, I feel like, yeah, you'll have freedom to kind of be that. Just find the holes, plug them, be annoying, sort of do your thing. So yeah, I think it makes a ton of sense. Now, if you guys suck, that would suck. But I'm quite hopeful for you guys and excited you got in the squad, because I know Joe and I instantly were like, yeah, that sounds amazing. Let's start to talk. We're going to talk about some of the other stuff that got announced. So there was some big stuff with OpTic in Boston. We're just going to do that at the end of the episode once we kind of get through Envoy's career. We like to dive into it for people that maybe don't know about how he got started, because it's an interesting story. Because he was basically a cheating fuck that got top 64. And I was told that he was a cheating fuck that got top 64. I'm like, well, I just had him on Hot Mic and he was such a nice guy. Like, I love this guy.
But he was a young kid, man. We all made mistakes. We were all stupid.
Unfortunately for me, I made a lot of mistakes in those couple years. But I mean, yeah, bro. A keyboard. I've owned up to this, like, obviously.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Bring it up if it wasn't public.
Yeah.
But let's say to the people, he wasn't like wall hacking or aim locking. Like this.
There's a different level today. This is a different level today.
It's much different. This was console Call of Duty. He just plugged in a keyboard and had aim assist with it. And that's what he was doing. He was just.
And it was good. It was good.
I bet.
It was good. Oh man, that's so funny.
I've never experienced it, but I can imagine just like I played a good amount on both inputs, and yeah, I bet that's great.
Yeah, I was.
Is it
Go
even
ahead.
like rotational and everything, or is it just like a bullet magnetism? I'm just curious, like how it's the exact same aim assist. It tricks it thinking it's a controller, so it's identical, or is it a little?
It's identical. Obviously, it feels weird, like getting used to like the keyboarding, like
Sure,
on a
yeah,
Call of Duty
yeah.
game. But like, it's like the aim assist is doing it for you, and like aiming with a mouse, it's like infinitely easier than aiming with just like your thumb. Not like when we play all, not when we play all day, but like you know what I'm saying. Like historically, all the games played on PC, like
When you
they're a
can
lot more
snap.
precise.
So, like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that I feel like I remember back then, like people always knew because there'd be these crazy plays, and you
Oh,
could
yeah.
tell when someone would just like
Oh.
move their arm and like the flicks.
Yeah.
That's always how I feel. People are like, "What the fuck was that?" Like,
Yeah, people don't play
Oh, yeah.
10-10. They
do.
didn't play 10-10 back then. Like people were playing pros, especially were
Yeah.
playing like 4-4, like some were 3-3, like maybe 5-5. Like now we don't have the days of now doing 20-20 0.6 ADS multiplier.
Dynamic.
Like yeah, like
Yeah.
now some of the snaps you see, it's still I think within 2 seconds I can tell if someone's on mouse and key or on controller, but like it's a little harder to tell nowadays with like all the options you have. But like back then, like yeah, it's like okay.
I don't know. I was kind of a true like keyboarding vet along with a couple of my companions there, but you were not catching me lacking like that all the time. That's why I got away with it so long.
Like rules? Did you guys have like?
There's
some
like-
kinda- you
there's
kinda
like
knew what to do.
You're just playing on super low settings. Like
Yeah.
the thing how it works is like you play on like 1414 in game or like the max sense, and then like you slow everything else down like on the back end of like how you move, and that's why you get away with it for so long. Because like right now my whole desk is a mouse, but like I used to play with like a 3-foot mouse pad, and to do a 90-degree turn, I'd have to like swipe the whole 3 feet. Like
Okay.
it'd be hard to snap. And like there'd be the occasional two. There are occasional two, you know, you're in a big tournament, and I'm like, you know, I'm trying to snap on someone. I run out of mouse space, and my guy just stops turning. You're like, oh, what was that?
Yeah.
Why did he
Always
stop when he started 180?
What was that? That was crazy. Yeah. No. But what you did that for a couple years until you turned 18. Then you
Yeah,
stopped.
I did it literally up until like the weekend before the 2K I could compete in World War II. So yeah, I was a scumbag. But I was saying that I have a crazy stat. Yeah, I definitely have the good with the bad. But I have a crazy stat that Simp, he made me record my hands when I was keyboarding, and I beat him both times with a controller. But when he didn't make me record and I was keyboarding, he beat me. And I was like, damn, I should just use a controller. And that was in IW. That was in IW. And that was when they were final. Like him, like Simp, Cell, like I don't know if Abe was part of that, but yeah, they were final.
Yeah, Bruce.
Because the thing was too, the thing was I played on Xbox. Like the main console was PS4, but like all like you know the keyboarders and stuff were on Xbox. So that's where we played at. And then occasionally, you know, they got a big Prime tournament or Elite or whatever it may be. So you'd switch over and go to PS4 and play the big tournaments because like why not get a shot? You know, the couple grand.
Yeah, makes sense. Wow, there you go. There you go.
That's the whole rundown. I don't think I've never spoke about that. So
Yeah,
We get
no.
the juicy.
you get the juicy.
You know, until you're 18, does much count? It's like, yeah,
I
you
don't
can't
think
get a
so.
prison yet. Like, you
Yeah.
yeah. juvie or whatever. Like, when it comes to gaming, like, listen, I did some shit. So, like, until you're like, you start to learn. You know, we've all been dumb little shits.
Exactly. Yeah.
My stories just aren't safe for this broadcast. But another thing I want to touch on quickly before we just get deep into the history stuff. I've talked about this several times while casting, but some may not know. Like, I find this to be literally just fucking insane. I don't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it. The human brain is fucked. So you have your game audio flipped.
Yeah, correct. When I play any type of game.
So we have a Dolby Atmos or whatever with our directional audio. You're trying to sound tour, a guy's sprinting on your left, and you hear it on your right.
Technically, but I just hear left,
even though it's on your right.
Yes, like basically, I relate it to like just people that play inverted on controller. Like it just becomes muscle memory.
The audio doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
He's just rewired his brain. He's rewired it.
yeah. So literally, when I was younger, I just would we had like a game room, and I would literally pick up my headset and put it on the same way every single day, and put it back down, and then because like it was one of the ones where you could flip the mic either way. So I didn't really know which way was the right way. I didn't look. I was just like so happy I could game and just would throw on my headset. And then ultimately one day I think I got like when I started playing competitive gaming, I got a different headset and it didn't switch. And I'm like, wait, this says left, this says right, but it sounds completely messed up. And then I just wore it backwards from there on out. Like that's when I knew I still had to wear it backwards.
No, actually, okay, this is sort of similar, but not identical. Like I don't know if you guys listen to audiobooks at all, but like I do, like when I listen to the books, I usually do 1.5 speed. And it's weird when you first switch to it, it sounds like they are speed talking. But after a couple of minutes, it's normal as shit. And if you listen to like normal speed one, it sounds like literally a sloth talking. Like it's wild how fast the brain just like one becomes normal and one becomes slow. It's wild.
Just gets used to it, right?
It put the cherry on top. The only other person who does this that we know of is Draws, who you played with for
who we team with. And what are the odds of that? Out of 48 players,
insane.
Someone else in the league gets in that has their headset backwards, and we team. So me and him are at the events. At the events, it was so funny, bro. We would do this program on our PC because some of the headsets like don't flip. Like you can't like flip them backwards, like the mic. So we get this program on our PC that would like do it for us, where it'd flip the audio inputs to like different sides, and we wouldn't turn it off after an event. Like it would just like, you know, you lose an event, I'm not gonna go turn off my warm up station PC or like turn off the audio. So I think Lamar and Pred walked up to us one time after they were scrimming, and they're like, "Bro, our headsets are backwards," and I'm like, yeah, that was us. Yeah, we can fix that. Yeah, we can fix that. I'm like, yo, Zach, you got that? Or you got me?
Yeah, just close out this program. Sorry,
but like,
that.
so there's probably so many PCs. There's probably so many PCs that have it.
Like going up, and you're just going through it. Like those 45-minute fucking delays Joe and I'll deal with. Like, what's going on? Like a little Envoy left the fucking audio flip, and no one can figure out what's going on.
Yeah, Zach made a smart call and got like the molded ear things for on stage that they had the wire switched out, but otherwise, you know, like we use those earbuds that are meant to go in your left ear or your right ear. So I get like really bad headaches sometimes, or like my ears will actually really hurt because I put in those earbuds like the complete opposite way. Because when you go on stage, like you're not wearing your headset backwards. Like the headset is just for your mic and the white noise, but the earbuds is all the game sound. So like there's like it's not much nowadays because like, you know, we play like 1 match a day, 2 matches a day max sometimes. But like back in CWL, bro, those long days of playing like 3-4 matches,
like stabbing your ears.
Yeah, literally. And it was like
either you don't notice they're there and they're good, or they're annoying as fuck. There's no in between. It's just like uncomfortable, or it's I can't even tell I have things in my ears right now. But so you just were putting them in flipped. Why? So yeah, I'm surprised you did. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't order like special ones or something. Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could Google anything, but I
My brain is backwards.com.
My brain
is backwards.com.
It worked for Zach, so I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's crazy.
Yeah, we worked with what was it, like Ultimate Ear or something? They could pretty much do whatever. You can get a lot of custom stuff. Maybe you can do it through them.
You're molded.
Yeah, I still have not used those at all because I can't stand like total sound cancellation. It weirds me out, bro. It freaks me out. I can't do it. Okay, so your brain's backwards. You came on Hot Mic once. You got top 64. You were cheating a little shit, and then you turned 18. Now we get to it. Adulthood for Envoy. You know, I was looking through like your early career, and there were a couple of titles where you like competed a little bit. Didn't look like you know, a ton. And I was surprised when I looked back at some stuff. I forgot that you got like top 6 at MLG Worlds and AW with Ken. I totally like I forgot that was the thing entirely until I was looking through stats.
Yeah, I didn't. So my first COD, like competitive COD, was Ghost. I've been playing since like COD 2, COD 3. First competitive COD was Ghost. Played wagers, some 2Ks and stuff. You know how that goes. But first COD, like I was getting slammed, whatever. Then AW like came around and like I was actually like a lot better and like kind of like worked my way up. Even though I was playing lacrosse in high school and like my schedule was all weird. Like not then. No, that was afterwards. But that was BO3. But yeah, then we got, you know, I got like top 20, or I went to season 3 relegation and got DFR'd by OpTic Nation and 3s Up to qualify for the league. And then I got top 20 at Dallas. Then I joined Justice with Ken, Spacely, Assault. We got top 12 and then top 6. And my ego was just inflated there, like just inflated for sure. That's where you kind of like you saw like what Ken was talking about, like back in the day, like we hate each other because my ego was massive and I was just horrible. Like looking back, I was like so bad. I just literally online, I was like 40 and 40, 50 and 40 sometimes, but because AW is a mixy game, you get a compound hard point, 90 engagements. It was something you could do. But then I go to LAN and it was like, okay, well, this kid's good at search. Like I was really good at search. I was double digits every time, but because I played so many tournaments, but I could not go pause and respawn to save my life. And there's some VODs you can go watch. Our names are all messed up, but because of like the old accounts, but I was just getting slammed. So it was like, I had this ego, but it wasn't justified. And then that led into my bad years of, keyboarding and doing that. But in the time, there was a lot of lessons learned. And I feel like I played 3 years of S&D, which for at least my era of like players, I've like, all the good S&D kids from that time are now in the league, and there's a couple of few that like got in and then like kind of like ditched out or got weeded out. But it's crazy how the eras go. Like I feel like there wasn't like a big S&D scene maybe way back in the day, but then like Ghosts, AW, BO3, it was popping, and now all those kids are all those kids are in the league now.
Well,
everyone's in the league, and nowadays there's no S&D tournaments.
Why you probably like got away with as much as you did too, because I forgot that you competed a little bit, got top 6, so you were crying during those times, and everyone was like, no, he doesn't. Like he was on LAN playing. Like
the problem was I could just still like bro, it's not like I'm gonna switch to a controller and just like, all right, well I've done this for my whole life still.
Right.
But the keyboard's a good advantage. Like I mean,
no, you're not wrong. So then when you got top 6, so then how many years did you have to wait to turn 18? Like after that? Like
3. So it's 2015. Wow. 2015, and then I'm born in January, so as soon as the new year comes around, I turn 18. In World War II, and that was, like I said, it was super ego inflated going into my like underage years, guess you could call them. And then World War II came around. I turned 18 not mid-year, but like 2 months in, and that game was all about pro points from like what people told me, like to play in. Like there was like those they had leagues, right? There was a league in every region.
Yes.
And no one wanted to pick me up because I was like, no pro points. Like obviously I cheated, and it was just really bad. So I got on some really bad teams that I thought I could like make work, and ultimately we just went to LAN and I got top 48 and top 80. Like when I got top 80, I lost to like Remy in like winners round 3, and then someone else in losers. I want to say like a Spanish team or something. And then the other event I got top 48, I lost to Tom Gravity in losers and a European team in winners. I mean, I don't know, but it was like humbling, I think. And that after that, it was just kind of like, well, I can't go to Birmingham because I didn't have a passport. And I was just like, all right, well, no. And then I got banned. And I got banned after that because we got into a 2K, and I just had formed a team with like Mock, Darian, and Atura, and we got second in the 2K. We lost to Haggie's team, Ghost, in finals. Round 11, map 5 of finals. It's a 3v3 on USS Texas, and we get Ninja diffused on. I'm dead. And I'm like, bro, I'm getting costed, right? But we got second in the 2K. You get paid out a little bit of money, so they start investigating my account. And this account don't, it's not me.
No.
It's not me. So I ended up getting banned for that. And I had to wait until BO4 to like play again. I got banned for like 6 months, and that was hell. That was super hell.
Yeah, because you're making your way up finally, and then you're like, you gotta be kidding me. Like this.
Yeah.
You
I was like
3 years.
I thought I was clear.
Yeah, you thought you were past, and then they did some investing. That's crazy.
Like old tweets, dude. Just like just got competent. Dude, the MLG like ban, like you weren't the only person that had that, but I was like, I feel like when people get hit by that, it was like the death sentence in the sense of like it didn't usually get reversed ever. Like it just you were banned. Deal with like whatever amount of time it is.
A year for a lot of
but the default is a year, so I would have been banned till mid BO4, but they had this thing where you can admit guilt. So here I am on my hands and knees. I did it. I don't know. The cells got like the jury. It was me.
I am guilty.
I am guilty. And then I was luckily the ban got reduced to 6 months, and then I was like there to play at the very start of BO4. because I needed something. I needed to be able to play the first 2K and not fall behind in points. That was like obviously the main goal every year. But like for me, after going through 3 years of that and then screwing myself in War 2 technically because of the ban, I was like, bro, this has to work. Like this is all or nothing. So I was working a part-time job at the park district, like lining baseball fields, like maintaining soccer fields and stuff like that. And that was going into the PLQ for BO4.
Okay.
And then once we went to the PLQ, like I guess the rest is history there. But well, I guess there's some stuff before then too. Like Vegas happened. I got top 40. I lost to E6 and Heretics. But I was like, just like what I did at the PLQ, I was frying. I kind of had the meta like in my hands. The like teams recognized, so I had like a couple of offers to join for the PLQ.
Yeah, and this is where MWII joins, right? So
yeah,
MWII joins.
That's where he started to exist for me. That's just like as a caster when he was on my radar is that MWII team, because that was like one of the few. There's not a lot of like Cinderella stories. Like usually the big teams win, the big players win. Like no names don't usually like qualify. That's one like in my memory where it was sort of like a holy fuck. Like they kind of made some noise.
Insane.
And then the whole team like fell apart, right?
Heretics made it.
Yeah. That overtime team, that French team.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if the team fell apart. Didn't like this.
I think they got rid of like all the players and kept one or some shit, didn't they? Like, what? Something happened.
You're saying what?
They got the spot. Like back then is when the org on the spot. I thought the org like got the spot and fucked all the players. Some shit.
Oh yeah, for my team, you're saying?
For MWII, yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to like drop my whole team and build around big name players, and I'm like, all right, well, we're literally the best team in the league. What do you mean? Like, I'm obviously like, bro, we're new to the league. Like, people will probably catch up with their talent and stuff.
This
like
led to rule changes. I'm pretty sure. Like this situation was a big deal when it happened. I remember like people freaking out.
Yeah, we basically like went to the league and just like asked for like I don't even know what it's called, like sanction or like whatever, to let them like make the call for us of like, you guys can leave, like no penalties, like forget the roster rules of like you got to keep 2-year players, like wherever you guys want to go, you guys go. And that was just tough. Like ultimately, like I ended up in a good spot, and I feel so bad for like my teammates that like did for a little bit and then didn't because of ultimately like what happened with MWII. But it's just like, it's insane, like the shock we made coming to the scene, and then like just hearing that like, all right, well, we want big name players on our team, let's drop everyone. And I'm like, all right, well, now I want out. Now I'm gone.
No, I'm on it.
Now I'm gone, and everyone else is too.
Yeah, maybe I remember at the time.
What was this one? It was like you, Parzilian,
Llama, Jet Li, and Brack, yeah. And then Aturo was our coach.
Aturo was your coach. Okay. So then after that, you joined GenG, which that was you, Major, Nagafin, Havoc, and Mox, and you guys were. I mean, you guys had some two second places or one? 2 of them?
2 seconds. First in our division, right?
You would have won another event or something. I remember. Right?
Dude, that was like one of the biggest heartbreaks I ever did. No cap.
Yeah.
My brain's a weird thing where I remember like random little moments that were just annoyingly a big deal, and I remember that like derailed the tournament massively, and it was just like Mox like just didn't have a backup controller, but it was also like the start of a hard point or something, if I remember.
Yeah, we won the first series perfectly fine. We went backstage and came back, controller was just busted. Like, I don't know. And then here I am, right? I'm frying the whole tournament. I've been frying the whole year. We're at finals before champs or whatever. And his controller's busted next to me. He's played like with the bumpers and the triggers. So he just goes, okay, my bumpers are messed up, or my triggers are messed up. Switch to my bumpers. Like, so he switched to it mid hard point. Going back, I would have put my controller down, stood up off the stage, like, yo, end this game right now, knowing what I know now.
That's why I was fucking pissed off, because I heard he was making this big deal on social, but then I heard that like he was having issues with the controller before the match. I'm like, come the fuck on. Like, if you're having issues with a controller already, like, you got to get another controller.
Well, it's because we won the first best of 5. That's why we won the first best of 5, and then went backstage, and then the controller issues happened. And so he's switching his settings next to me. So he couldn't shoot at first or aim in. So he switched it, and now he can aim in and shoot, but he can't stim. And that's like a key thing of Black Ops 4. I'm like, you can't stim. I'm like, you can't stim. Like, what the hell? So I'm dropping a 0.7, looking at him the whole time next to me. Like, is your controller working yet? And yeah, I don't know.
I'm curious though, because like, you know, coming onto the scene, you've obviously had your moments, but like this, I guess, what about like Black Ops 4 just kind of like made sense in your mind? Because I mean, you were like insane on this roster. Like, Yeah, you were like
Yeah.
one of the key SOG players who you were gross from the start to finish. I guess just like what kind of clicked with you, like with this game.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just like being 5v5. No one had like an idea how to play, and I feel like my midnight team, like, and even the teams I was on beforehand, is just like I figured out really early. I feel like how you like ideally you should play, and make it impossible for teams of like running through doorways. And I think you see it a lot now, like through the CDL era, of like these teams that are winning have orchestrated strategies of like how you want to hold hills, like getting the best ideal spots possible. And in Black Ops 4 with the stim, the shoulder peeking, and the specialists, you could put yourself in the spots to 1v2 people all the time, or like hold down a lane just by yourself, or buy so much time. So I just like the idea about it, like really kind of like set myself up for like the coming years. And I still think about COD like the same. You talk to all my coaches, like I feel like it's really important to like refer back on like other games, or like years beforehand. Obviously with Thieves, I was here for 2 years. We won champs before, so it's really easy to go, all right, well, what did we do last year that worked so well, And I've kind of carried that through of like that same thought process throughout the time.
New spawns, no red dots, get fucked.
Yeah, I get screwed. But
Yeah.
honestly, the big thing is too is that game. It was I was a battery character. God bless in that sense. But
Well, shot punch too. I feel like you were
shot
really
punch
good
was
at that.
godlike.
That was
Yeah.
huge.
Also, I was just like more of a Slayer sub back then. Like I
Yeah.
probably wasn't making all the right plays or doing like what's ideal. Or, like my mindset has changed, I guess, in that sense a little bit. But I was your slow sub. Get every kill I can in the book. Don't matter if I'm making the wrong play, like the wrong play, right play. Like just sit there and kill.
Well,
And
I
now
thought
it's
you
kinda
did that
do it all.
5v5. It was like
Yeah.
it's just different. The map was just there was obviously more people. Like it was tougher to you just kind of had to have someone to be annoying and piss people off.
Yeah, gunfights were everywhere too. And yeah, it's my ratty play style. I'm just like a firm believer of like the buying time, and the kills will come to you, bro. Like I mean, I think FaZe has set like a perfect example. Like, bro, not only like they have obviously some of the best gun skill, they're the hardest kills. The Cell is the hardest kill on the map, like most of the time. And if he's not, they're probably getting like not getting the results they want. And like Abe, he's all in your face. Simp, he's always got his gun up. Like they set a good example of, I feel like how COD should be played like ideally.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes, yeah. I think that obviously they had their struggles. Like everyone has their struggles, but I think it's a good base.
Wait, Joe, real quick though, like it's interesting you said that because you're totally right. But like when I think of like Envoy and when he became like the guy and like a phenomenal talent for me, like I picture instantly before you were talking about Black Ops 4, like I think of like Petrel, MWII 2019, like just some fucking route this guy found on Petrel where he gets behind 3 people.
Well, that's what he
And we
was doing
saw
in
it
Black
over
Ops
and over
4.
again. But like I just don't. I'm just saying, like for me, like that moment for him, that like a coming of Christ, like Envoy's the best. He's amazing playmaker. Blah 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 blah. It's like MW, but like you're right. I like forgot how disgusting he was
Yeah,
in Black Ops 4.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, BO4, I never had been more gassed when they got the damage leaderboard up at the end of the day of the Pro League or the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm number 1. I'm gassed. I'm laying down damage, like, bro. That was the best time.
The square root of EKIA and how many kills I had though.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you have sort of Thieves in E United headlining that, but outside of it, like sort of his story was probably a top 3, top 4 sort of storyline throughout the year, like for sure. Like yeah, and how he was playing, it was so much different. It just felt like he understood 5v5 a lot more than everyone else in those teams.
And they were hyped up going into champs.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Until a certain point, obviously a really good year, but.
What
maybe
happened?
The biggest disappointment at champs. You guys end up finishing. You guys were a top 2 team. You guys get top 32 in groups. Just a
probably them or
play day.
OpTic. What year did OpTic get knocked out in groups? Was that
those were 2? I mean, they were a mess though too. Like these guys were.
That's true.
I feel like we just had
like top 2 going in. Yeah, that probably is like the biggest. Not to rub it in, but that probably is like the biggest disappointment ever. Like you're talking top 2 team knocking out.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, like I was kind of saying or alluding to, bro. Literally all throughout BO4, I think I was like a 1.2 or 1.1 to 1.3 permanently. Champs at BO4, if you look at the stats, I'm like a 0.7, and like
a rough
in
day.
groups, and just a really bad day. I also like Bruce kind of touched on it and like their little podcast thing that they did. I seen a clip about it, but like we also got back-to-back seconds in like it kind of messes with your brain of like, all right, just do the same thing again. You know, like, but let's win this time. Don't get second again, but let's win this time and get
Well,
there.
just work for most teams, kind of like the event right before. You know, you see them follow it up, like we just saw with every fucking year.
So you're
Typically
saying
that
just
works.
like not to make adjustments and sort of learn from that. It's sort of like we were right there. Let's just not
Especially
change
'cause-
anything.
Yeah, because it was playoffs. Like Mox's controller broke. We 3-0'd United in the series beforehand in the most dominant way I've ever beat it. Like we beat 100T at Worlds, or not Worlds, but finals.
Playoffs,
We hadn't beat them all year. We're like, all right, we found like what we need to find. And then even before that, we got second at Anaheim, and we dropped to Naga, and then went 4-0 in the Pro League with
Your
space.
mindset going in was like keep doing our thing though, right?
Yeah, we're fine.
I think it's the right mindset though, honestly.
Yeah,
It's like that's
I think hands down, like in that year, there was no team like us United 100T. I would put everyone else on like a way far behind like thing. So we're like, okay, like it seems like super cocky, but like it's just like it's like human nature to an extent. Like, bro, it's just like you're gonna think like that. Like we went into MW2 this year, and we're like, all right, like we won champs last year. Like we had preseason meetings and shit. Like that doesn't mean shit now. Like you know, the champs Vanguard win means nothing. Like we get to restart all over again this year. But like human nature, bro, there's some things you just can't change. Like bro, in Vanguard, sorry to cut you off, Clint.
No, you're good.
In Vanguard, I can't tell you how heated we were at each other every single day. That like we were just so ass. Like or we were so mid. You know what I'm saying? For the first half of the season, we're like, bro, we should not be mid. Like we're doing better in scrims. Like, but we can't put it to fucking together. And so MW2, we're not raging at each other anymore, which is good. It's good for like the the vibes part. But like we're also like, all right, just do what we did last year. Like let's just add some more stuff from what we did last year. Like let's go revisit these concepts. And we know we can do it. We've done it before.
Right.
But like it's ultimately like the execution. Like how do you get there? And I feel like that was a big part.
Your point, I think that's where a lot of teams, and we talked about the champs curse, that's where a lot of teams look to add someone or drop someone, because that's what adding another person normally did for a team. It was just a fresh slate. Like,
yeah.
So
I don't think these things are comparable though, really. Like in the sense of like having a playoff and then a couple weeks later champs is a lot different than going into another title after winning champs. Like I think the whole like keep doing what we're doing has worked for most teams that have like
maybe he's just saying like
but no,
they should have done some things.
I was gonna say it was less that mentality, probably more just overconfidence. They were just cocky. Yeah, like it was less like keep doing what we're doing, probably more like we're fine, like we're frying. Like it's probably more
also
it's groups, dude. Who the fuck loses in groups? Like that's
we're number one. We're number one seed in groups and stuff. Yeah, definitely that. Also, like we had our boot camp beforehand too at the GenG facilities, and there's that. You guys definitely know we got like we won like 5 maps at our boot camp. Like definitely like not doing to the level like we expect. And online, actually all of our boot camps were like really bad, but online like obviously we were really really good. And usually at LAN we were very solid too. So it's just like this weird. It just added everything bad going our way. Like the second place, I feel like we could have won the event before. Our boot camp was just abysmally bad, and then we're also, like I said, also the back-to-back seconds, like it messes with your head and the fact that, all right, just keep doing what you're doing, and we didn't like improve at all or refresh. And these AM teams have all the VOD in the world on you. Like, they should never beat us. They should never beat us. That's not the thing. I had a really bad day. Some other people probably had a bad day too. But sometimes the things just go against you.
It happens. It is interesting though with like the whole boot camp thing, because that's happened to multiple teams where sort of someone's just gotten smoked and it just ruins the vibes going into the like that event, or the opposite. It's sort of like for us, like this was like 2014 Envy. Our boot camp was awful. We got like smoked by TCM, and we changed literally everything, and it worked. We were just like, fuck it, throw everything out of the out, like, and it worked. Where like if you're a really good team, you're probably not gonna do that, but you can tell something is off, and maybe you just can't fix it. Yeah, just sort of it's screwed at that point. But yeah, I'm
just out of curiosity, who's like your like vocal leader? Who's like kind of the leader on that team?
Probably me and Mike.
Major, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always been more of a vocal person outside of the game. BO4 is probably my most vocal in game, but I'm more of like a try to lead practice as much as like I can. And when we get to the game, like everyone know what they know what they need to do.
Sometimes like if the vocal like leader, that kind of in-game general is getting choke slammed, that can just things can dissolve real quick because it just becomes harder to sort of be that guy. So I was just curious, like who's kind of handling that. Well, so you have that year. I mean, it's your breakout year, right? Yes, champs sucks, but like you put yourself on the map as an absolute beast. Good enough that, I mean, at the time, just to make the comparison, like sort of like Pred was the young player, the hot commodity to go to OpTic. That's kind of what you were at the time.
You were the hot piece.
You were, you were, and not to discount your abilities now. You've been consistent as fuck, and you're a monster. But like, you get it. Like you were the up and coming thing, and you make this jump to OpTic Chicago. It's like after all the bullshit and the online years and the keyboarding and the struggles, this had to be a pretty proud moment for you, I imagine.
Oh yeah, I think after champs I got last, and I stayed at an Airbnb with like a BZ and Alec and stuff going into franchising. So I was scheming the whole time. I'm like, yo, Alec, like you're world champion, bro. Like, bro, if your team doesn't stick, like I'm trying to team, like whatever. I still had like really good stock.
At like a Waffle House, bro.
Yeah. But bro, my stock was like, regardless of champs, my stock I feel like was still like really good because of like what I proved throughout like majority of the season. But so I was like trying to cling on to Alec. I'm like, bro, like, just take me wherever you want to go. So originally it was Seattle, and then that kind of like wasn't in our best interest. And then the OpTic thing came on the table, and I'm like, bro, how are y'all last in Rostermania to try to do something? Like everyone else got their teams picked out. How are you guys last? But they're obviously doing all their stuff in the back end with Huntsmen, NRG, whatever it may be.
That bragging was shit.
It was cool for the time being.
You didn't like it? I thought it was all right.
Fucking thought it was ass. I remember we like ranked them. Like I thought Surge was so cool, and like we went through some of them. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I was like so used to like OpTic.
This was all Hector's like West Ham United thing.
I saw Huntsmen, saw an axe. I'm like, what are we doing? We chopping fucking wood, mate?
It doesn't matter. The team was good. You guys win London to start, but then obviously COVID happens. I for you, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do you see?
I got hoed, bro.
Yeah.
No. I see it as a success for like on a personal level. I feel like I didn't do my like best of like I guess like what you see more people do now, like of streaming and stuff. Like I was so tied up in like trying to win. Like I just came off like a good BO4 year, but like where I won nothing. And we started the year winning London, but like FaZe wasn't there. They had that weird 8-team tournament thing. So
year was a circus, bro. Like,
yeah, it was just like a trial and error type thing that I wish we didn't have to go through. But the COVID thing really screwed us, bro, because like I give credit to all the players now, like that are on Dallas and stuff, but bro, they were unbelievably good online. And like when we went to LAN, that one time, 2 times, whatever it was absolute slammage. And like I said, I give them all the credit now. Like we could go back now, and I could be completely wrong. We could lose on LAN to them, but like I'm with some of the all-time greats, and we're LAN gods, and then we're playing online from our apartments.
I think winning London probably really screwed with you guys' head. And then what? Matt lived in LA till like the end of the year. Were you in Dallas at the time yet? Or no?
Yeah, we were all in Dallas. So
okay, except for Matt.
Okay,
yeah, except for Matt.
LA, though, has some of the weirdest internet of all time. He's a lord.
That guy's got like FBI net.
Definitely.
Yeah. I never forget playing Halo against him. I'm like, what is this guy doing to me on a West Coast?
But obviously got to a point because he made his way to Dallas. So if you could tell it affect the mental where he was like, I gotta get that.
No, he didn't. I don't think. Well, he made in Cold War. He did.
Oh, that's where it was. Okay.
Yeah, in MW, he was not there. In Cold War, we kind of like forced him to come.
Just put in a fat lipper, just grind it home.
It was just like, we just got, I feel like we got so screwed on the fact that like it was just all online. Everyone was online, obviously. Like that's not like the excuse. Like you still got to try to win. But the whole server thing, like you could veto servers. Like I played Dallas online, and Rambo Ray's vetoing the Dallas server versus us, and I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like, you don't want to play on 5 ping? You want to play on 20? Like, what is going on?
Those rules and like. Listen, I usually will be someone to say like, online sucks, but for the most part, results are pretty consistent. And like, I don't care if you're playing a 30 ping or 50 ping. Like, that's not usually going to decide if you win or lose, but there were legitimate like problems with the servers. People were we were watching them freeze, just running around, like skipping, like that's the only year I can think of. That's like DDoS and shit, where like we were just watching as commentators and be like, this is fucking horrible.
Yeah, the whole OpTic thing at Champs with Ken.
We're getting messaged by our production people like, don't talk about the lag. I'm like, motherfucker, I am watching them teleport around. Like, what do you mean don't talk about it?
Yeah,
like,
we're gonna talk about it.
I'm gonna talk about it. Like,
yeah.
It's definitely tricky for y'all.
Sometimes. Like, don't bring it up, don't spotlight it. I'm like,
well,
he can't play.
And I think you probably had one of the, like, it's not an excuse, but I think for the vets, everyone's just like, this is online, this is BS. And this team with Alec coming off a world championship, you then have Scump and Formal and their success.
And Pierce has got 3 MVPs 2 years beforehand. Like,
you have Pierce before you have Preston onto the squad. Like, this is maybe one of the worst scenarios for this is online BS. Like, no doubt about it.
Literally
every single day.
And like I said, I'm the guy in practice.
Relationship at that point. All right, go ahead. Finish your thought. I still had a question.
They were good. They were good then. They obviously like made up and
some up and downs. Holy.
They realized like they just wanted to team together again and like try to do what they did before. But now I freaking forgot what I was going to say.
You were the kind of guy in practice.
Oh yeah. That's just like, online, whatever. Like, we're still here to fry. Like, we're gonna fry. Like, I don't give a damn that's online. It's my second year out here. Like, we're gonna fry regardless. That's the last thing I want to hear. And here I am trying to tell these guys that, bro, stop complaining about online, bro. Stop complaining, please.
Yeah.
And also it just sucks too because we won London, and then we went to Atlanta and we got reverse swept by Florida. Preston, like the infamous like Preston and Alex series.
Oh, I forgot you guys were there.
Yeah.
You guys, everybody was talking about you playing FaZe, and
Florida's been in OpTic's cheeks for a long time, bro. It's been going on. It started that year.
I forgot about that, dude.
Oh yeah, Joe and I casted a lot of Florida upsets, and the crowd was not making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was tough, and I was like, "Dang, now we're going back now we're going to online. Like that's the end of the season, basically."
I assume I don't even remember if anyone saw it. Like the whole Preston for gunless thing, was this just a vibes thing for you guys, like the squad? I don't remember. Time.
Yeah, me and Pierce had a disagreement. I feel like
the contract thing too.
Maybe
right? Wasn't he cheap as shit compared to gunless at the time?
Yeah, but Pierce stayed on the team. Stayed on the team regardless. But yeah, it's just like kind of like saying like a fresh start, adding another fast sub. Obviously, me and Seth are like relatively slow for the most part, and adding another sub, any of us can pull out a third AR. Like
now it's like we just won a world championship together. Like I need my brother back. Like I'm sure. That's tough.
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of a no-brainer, and like I think Preston wanted off Florida, or I don't know how it all went down, but it just made sense. We had a couple bad home series, and then we got Preston the first home series back. We won, like the Seattle one. But then again, no FaZe, no Dallas at that one. I played like London in finals. And no disrespect for them, but yeah, I was good for me. Good for me.
You guys had the crazy sort of OpTic versus Chicago series. You guys win that one in a game 5 round 11. And then you guys get third. Who did you guys lose to? Was it OpTic or FaZe in Dallas?
We lost to FaZe. We lost to FaZe, bro. That really haunts us haunts me. We lost to them in winners and losers.
Winners game 5, and then you guys lost in a 4-game series on losers,
Yeah, and in game 5 of winners, we played Ramaza S&D, I believe. Mm-hmm. One of the rounds, Matt almost 1v2 versus BZ. I think that was the last round of the game. Another round, I threw like in a man-up situation. But one round that stuck out to me is Preston on Ramaza defense. I like ran up mid-map. I got a first blood, and I told Preston to nade above me, and I was going to double nade it with him. And I naded, his shit missed. It just landed on my head and killed me. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. That was like my vivid memory of that series versus FaZe, is getting naded by Preston. But I love Preston.
I think it's on a complete tangent real quick.
Yeah.
You guys go into the broadcast chat and open that link.
Okay.
I just had to go look at it. Someday I want to watch it. Just click on that. I want to remember how bad it was. So I went to the beginning of that year and I was watching all the third person and no mini map on the screen and what the fucking dickhead production team wanted to do. I'm watching this and just want to die.
Now the big thing that got me was the 0-0 at the top. 0-0 of what? 0-0.
Third person cam the whole time. No mini map. Like, what am I watching?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a
Okay.
rough
Anyway,
one.
we gotta go back and watch all that one time, just and like literally just watch it live and chat about it. But I brought that up because I just thinking of that first launch weekend with you guys and winning it and stuff, and remember that circus. Anyway, back to what you're talking about. I just had to vent. Thank you.
There you go. Now we have the whole free cams and stuff too. The free cams are sick.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
improved drastically. I'll just never forget those fun arguments.
You guys finished third. I'm sure in your guys' mind, it's probably if this was on land, probably goes differently. But I think looking back at it, probably a relatively successful year
Yeah.
for you guys.
Better than my year before. And
True.
I think obviously we all said ourselves we go to land way different, but Dallas, I feel like the way the top 3 played out is like, you hate to admit this is a competitor, but like that's how it should have played out. Like Dallas was far ahead of us in phase, at least in my head. Yeah, obviously, like, bro, any given day we can beat each other, but like they're locking doors. Dallas is doing everything ratty, wall banging from across the map. Like
they had it figured out.
Yeah.
You guys moved to Cold War, and we moved to Cold War, and then we moved to 4v4. I guess for you guys, was there any sort of discussion at all, like with the roster, with letting Alec go? Like, was there any other options, or was this sort of like, all right, Alec's gonna go?
Did you know what you were creating? Did you know what you were creating at the time? Like,
nah,
I remember we were like, oh my god.
we knew what we were creating, but like ultimately, I feel like you just can't, like.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's up to Hector, and
Hector said he wasn't going to keep him prisoner, and
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I respect it too.
Well, I guess before that, I wasn't sure if like there was an option of them keeping Alec. I didn't know. Type thing.
There's nothing worse than playing with someone that doesn't want to sit there and play with you every day. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have a teammate that just isn't invested as much as you, and you never wanted to get to that point. So I was fine with that. The main 2 options were obviously Bruce and Preston. That was like our 2 options going into the season.
Okay.
Priesta. Obviously went with Bruce, and like ranking wise, we're like a solid squad. But
no, 100%. I think this is this year in general, I feel like everything that could go wrong for you guys felt like it did. Like the lineups. I think you guys had chances to win tournaments, or at least get like top 2, top 3s in. Or like top 2s, like get to the finals. You guys have a best of 9. Like
I still get
always said, like, who knows
still.
if OpTic gets to the final? It's just you guys never did this year. Like you never got there.
That's why, like, I tell some people like this is kind of like I guess like the low point of like my career, because at least all the other like years I didn't win, or like MW was there some home series, and like this year we finally got to go back to land. But bro, we didn't make a final. We had some, like you said, heartbreaking losses. The Lamar 1v3 was insane. And bro, after that, I walked around like the Hex Quarters building at least 10 times. I'm not even trolling you. Walked outside, my hands up.
Or were you? Are you the?
I was dead. I died first.
Oh,
and they're like, dude, I'm like costed. I'm reading all like, bro. Bro, what?
I didn't know what happened in the moment, bro. I was like, what the? I just looked at the kill feed. Sometimes in those moments as a commentator, like it's so hard to track it all so fast. You just look at the kill feed, and I saw accuracy.
Did you know what happened until like?
No, none of us really did. None of us really did.
Know what anyone did.
Yeah,
no, looking back, I was
again, like,
oh my god. Looking back, I was like, bro, like we're literally known for just challenging, and like we all die in a corner. This is the worst way to go out. This is by far the worst way to go out.
Do you feel a lot of pressure, like just considering, before this was the Dynasty team, the OpTic Dynasty, you guys are kind of going through it a bit, really up and down. Like, I feel like Scump and Formal had to have been head cases to some degree. There's no way, like, someone with that pedigree wasn't at that point, and you were kind of like the new guy. Like, did you feel like a lot of pressure kind of keep just heads on straight at points?
Maybe. I feel like it got bad towards the end of the year when you kind of, like, realized that, like, Matt was, like, a bit checked out, or, like, kind of I was saying of that Matt, like he's trying to play for the team, and I'm like, bro, stop playing for the team, Matt. Like I need champs, I need IW champs Formal. Like I need a 1.7.
Motherfucker, bro. Always his best when he was just the cockiest guy on the planet.
Yeah, so it's just weird.
It's tough because it was like this. You had these crazy sporadic games, and then you went to a very
it's just solid,
slow pace.
If you fucked up, you screwed your team. So that's probably what it was. It's like, I'm sure a guy like him who wants to chow, maybe then it was, do I chow this? Do I not chow this? Do I hold this spawn? Because if you didn't make the right play at the moment, you could potentially lose your team the game. And you guys were going through all of these matches, these heartbreaking losses where one small thing was screwing with you guys. So I'm sure a lot of the stuff in game you were probably second guessing. Well, maybe not you, but maybe someone like him.
100%. I think I kind of related to, like, I can't believe I have I'm 23 right now, about to turn 24 in this next season. I can't believe I have two scenarios where I have Formal and Octane retiring, and then like I can relate them somehow. And the fact that it's just like you can understand like the personality change or like the day-to-day change in practice of like something is going on with them, and the fact that maybe they don't want to be here as much, or like, not saying I can't speak for them, but like in the back of my head, when you put that thought in your head, I'm gonna retire after this year, that's a bad thought to have, like on a team, like, what I'm saying, like if your teammates figure out about that, or
what you talked about, sort of yelling at each other, like you guys weren't doing that, then
yeah,
I'm
like
sure that played into it. This was sort of passion going into that practice.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to speak for them, but like you can tell when someone's checked out, or like figure that, like, I tip it to anyone that's played like this long. It's hard to sit there and give it your all in practice every day and sit in this chair for 10 years, however long it may be, So
I tip you guys for playing these last couple of titles.
Yeah,
I really do. I sit there and commentate and watch this mini map in UCAS Clint. I want to die, but anyways, like, that's another.
The map thing though, like I think he just lost his chip on his shoulder, because like when he came over from Halo, like, dude, I've never, like, the first like big event, like I remember yelling at Clayster at a bar. They're both drunk. He calls him like a dog shit pussy. Like he's going at Clay like his first tournament. Like he was. A lot of the players when he came over, I remember like Nestle and all these guys, like, he's no way he's going to be good. You can't come over this quickly. Like he had this chip on his shoulder. Then he like did it all, won it all. I remember us having a convo with him where like he's sort of ready for the next challenge. Like I think he just saw that challenge is done.
Yeah, and now
you feel that way. It's sort of
it's whatever at that point. Yeah, you're just trying to do your best. But now you see Matt's still fierce competitor, easily frying in Halo. They like the 3P.
Win a championship, I wouldn't even be surprised. Like,
yeah, exactly. And also, like, I'm not, like, obviously I mained the topic around, like, I guess them on like that year, but like it was also my worst year by far. Like on an individual performance.
Like 4v4 to 5v5 change.
Maybe
do a lot for them though. That's how I picture it. Like you have these gods on your team. You were probably trying to just like do too much, be that guy a little.
Kind of going back to what I talked about at the beginning of the roles thing, I feel like we have 2 slow ARs and 2 slow subs. Like, and I feel like our time, like our pacing could be off, and just a lot of like uncertainty, at least from my standpoint. I feel like obviously I'm playing them, or most people are playing at their best when they're just relying on instincts or, going off gut feeling. And I feel like that year I just kind of got in my head a little bit of like how I want to play the game. Maybe because of the 4v4
sub. Like, I'm not trying to downplay him, but it is probably a different challenge versus your traditional setup to like play alongside a sub like that, because he's kind of one of the only people that's just I don't know. Well,
I'll say Seth pulls 1v2s out of his ass like it's nothing.
Oh, and he's a god. Yeah, I mean, like he's not really a traditional like
similar to like Simp in the sense, like so it's always gun ready. Like he has great awareness and But
so you can't say anything bad as
that role. It's like the second guy, you're like, where do I go? Okay, I'm gonna hit this type thing, and it can mess with the pacing and whatnot for sure.
And I've alluded to too that like throughout my career, I feel like I've played a vast majority of roles. Like I could be the entry, like as most people talk about me like this too. Is like I can be the entry sub, I can be the slow sub, I can be the I guess Slayer sub, kill horse sub, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Like I was in BO4, just go for kills and that's it. But like that year, I think was like a big like lesson year for me of like how I need to play the game, or like how I need to like think about the game, I guess, in a 4v4 difference, and identify like what I work best in. It's kind of like before I was kind of just like run around, do whatever I want in 5v5 and just get kills. If I got kills, it all worked out. And now it's 4v4, a lot more punishing, a lot less trades if I do some solo shit.
Or was a rude awakening for, I think, just a reminder of what COD can be at its base. Like,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. As much as it was the 4v4 versus 5v5, you went from squad spawns and to this. Like, it was just, I'm sure it's difficult. Like, we then go to the following, like, which is Vanguard, and we've had guests on, and we've had guests who were like, we as a team had no fucking clue what to do. Like we would go over practice and not have an idea. We tried this, we tried that, nothing worked. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you could just have those years with a squad.
And on those like hero plays and routes, like those could just fuck you. Like whereas in MW, it's like, whatever, dude, there's 4 other guys. Like I might catch a timing here, but like in Cold War, it might just be like, okay, well, I just flipped this out and we just lost.
Yeah, I think it's like
that's just it was real punishing.
That's like one of the big differences. I feel like sometimes, why that team struggled and why I guess like FaZe can struggle sometimes too is like, bro, you have so much talent, so much gun skill. When it's going good, it's going good. Teams can't go bar for bar with you. But like what taught me a lot on like the LA Thieves team is that, bro, we're like kind of what my GenG team did too. Like we weren't like, obviously this team is a lot more, I guess, like all-star level than my GenG team. You know, a lot more like, you know, got Ken and Sam that have been doing this for forever now. But like we're not like, we weren't all at our peaks, but we still would figure out a way to win.
Gotcha.
Like and make sure these kills don't always necessarily like are gonna like rely if we're winning the game or not. Like on the OpTic team, like the OpTic Scarlet team, at least if we're not getting kills, like I said, that's my worst year statistically. Like we're not gonna win. Like it's just like we didn't look at the game on on what you guys kind of talk about as like the team level that like Toronto does or how we did this year. And that is what stands out for nowadays in the CDL is who has the best teamwork. In 5v5, I think it showed a lot in BO4 and MW, but since then it's whoever has the best teamwork. New York had the best teamwork for majority of the year, and they won the most events. You know, FaZe had the best teamwork in Cold War, they won the most events. We had the best teamwork in Vanguard, regardless of the title, spawns, whatever. Like we figured out the game to a T. Like we won
Teamwork's
2 events.
So because like it's like different methods of success. I mean, with the dog shit spawns and how you have to play, like I don't think New York necessarily played traditional. Dude, a lot of times they love Totel, which fuck that map forever.
Oh, for real.
But like they just it's just the teamwork. If you're all on the same page and you're calming, well, you work as a unit, you can kind of deal with whatever is thrown at you. As much as I'll like rag on some of these CODs, like they're kind of like harder in some ways because the unpredictability of it, like what you have to deal with and think on the fly. They're so reactive, versus like old titles that it's like a skill asset itself, honestly.
I feel like the teamwork is like what mitigates like a lot of like bad things that happen on a map compared to like in comparison of getting like a full 60 on a hard point where you don't use any teamwork to get out of a spawn trap compared to going 30 for 30, and that ultimately changes the game.
Yeah, no, 100%.
There's just a snake in my window. That was cool. Sorry.
I wonder. I was like, "You taking a dick pic, dude? Like, what's going on over there? Is that big?"
I think I go to Columbus.
Snake in there, dude. I was like, "Why is this thing in my window?"
I couldn't begin to guess what you were doing. Honestly, I just
we're going for it. So Cold War, it finishes. You guys finished like 4th. Couldn't beat Ultra.
Couldn't beat Ultra. Yeah.
Search and Destroy was always just like not up to par with like FaZe and Ultra, and I think it was a really important game mode that year. Then sort of the Envy OpTic merger comes into play. Was there any chance of you staying with OpTic, or was it sort of like you were kind of screwed in that scenario?
No, just what I was like saying about the Pred thing, like for this year of like going to OpTic, bro, you're not gonna turn down picking up Shotsy off off the 2 years he's had beforehand. Like It was a no-brainer. It was funny though, Crimsix called me about I'm like texting Seth all day, like, about rosters and stuff. He was texting and then he just stopped for like 10 hours. And I'm like, all right, I know you're on your fucking phone. And all of a sudden I'm double, triple texting him and Crim calls me. He's like, oh, you don't know you're dropped, bro? And I'm like, what?
Crim, bro.
And then Hector and Seth, yo, Matt Dill, meet at the HQ.
Get him on an episode, bro, like next week. We have to. He's insane. The guy's fucking insane.
Well,
he's like,
you don't know, you're fucking dropped.
Yeah, literally, that's what he said, and I'm like, well, shit, this is news to me. But I mean, once it happened, I was like, this makes sense. Whatever. So something shit just happens. That's just like kind of thing I go with. Like you just kind of got to go with the flow, and sometimes the cards don't play out in your favor.
Well, this worked out in your favor. You joined LA Thieves. Have we had all of your teammates on? Everyone besides Kenny we've had on. We kind of know how this year goes. I guess, you know, you guys start off pretty inconsistent. You've talked about the passion, like the passion that you guys are arguing with each other, but then something clicks. You win Major 4, you go on to win champs. I am curious, was there any like big change for you from playing online, like from LA to Dallas? Like, did that take any adjustment at all, or not really?
Definitely a little bit. You can tell like sometimes you're just getting joked, but for the most part, that year we did like a really good job of just like shutting that shit down. I was like, same thing I was been saying about practice. Like, bro, we're not getting the results we want, and we're complaining in practice. Like, that's not sliding. There's no way we can let that slide. So like we all became into agreements like that year at least that
Sam got way better.
yeah.
He used to be the worst.
Yeah. So I try to help my teammates like keep a good head on their shoulders to that fence. But yeah, I mean, bro, that year was a freaking movie, bro. So it was super stressful, but obviously it super paid off. Best moment of my career, you know, winning champs. Especially like, bro, the last 2 events we won were dominant. We're super dominant. We're literally. I think you kind of saw it with New York too, but I mean, bro, we're literally 80-point club, like 100-point clubbing people at champs, like
goes,
2-3 times.
Like, all sexy and goes, they figured it out, Clint. I was like, okay. And then,
well, you know,
that point,
I talked to Cap a lot. I talked to Eric a lot. So I was watching you guys scrims. I always watch you guys scrims. Like, I had like an idea, but I saw it Major 4. I was just like, this is different. Like, this was just, yeah, you guys figured it out. I mean, I think we've asked like Sam, you know, we asked Roz. I asked for you, like, when did you kind of realize like this shit is ours? Like, was it Major 4? Like, was it practice before that, or?
It was kind of what we showed at the Toronto Major 3, because it like showed that like what we were working towards was working, and like we just needed more time with like them on the roll swap and just a few more concepts, and then Berlin Control getting added was just like huge for us.
That was money, yeah.
So like it was just more about like going into Major 4, we knew that we were like different. Like we go from like losing to like the better teams online a bunch and saying we're from LA to like choke slamming teams. Like one of our jokes was that like bro, we play Seattle. If we lost to them bow cage first map of the day, we're gonna lose every single map. And I'm telling you, like for like a week or 2 straight, we'd scrim Seattle and we'd beat them on bow cage and win every single map afterwards. And I'm like, bro, we're different. Yeah, well, I'm like, bro, we're different. And same thing with FaZe. Like we went from just like losing to them a bunch and then beating them a bunch, like in dominant ways, and we're like, something feels right. Like obviously they'd have their days with us too. Like when we scrim FaZe, like the last few years, like there'd be days where they'd 8-0 us, there'd be days where we 8-0 them, and it's you don't know what to think after that. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm like, all right, well, it's a good day. It was a good day or a bad day. But yeah, going into Major 4 is when we knew.
Yeah.
Also, just like
I have a very important question, real quick. Did you ever want to dick punch the CEO?
Oh, Matt.
Dude,
no,
he
dude.
So annoying sometimes, bro.
Like, what are you talking about?
Dude,
Yeah.
I remember Matt with that year sometimes, dude. Just like the clips, or like he'd say, like he just seemed like
Cold
you
War
know.
was his bad year. That's when he
Was that the bad year? Oh,
Yeah.
you guys mixed it
yeah.
up.
Cold War. I think. I mean, I'm sure he was very passionate about his COD team. He always.
How could you make that play there? I'm like,
but I think Cold War was like, yeah, that was when they were making roster changes every fucking week.
That's cool. Matt can dish it, and he can take like whatever you got to say about him too. So
I love him, bro.
that's the best part. He came in a couple times, and I'd be like, all right, yo, get a life. You get a life. Yeah. Hey, he brought like the craziest round I've ever seen. I'm like, all right, give me the fucking controller back.
I'm just imagining him taking that, then like whoever you're scrimming is probably like, what the fuck was this guy doing? Like,
Yeah, I think it was when we were testing a new map too.
You guys watch him play ranked at all? I was dying. Like it was. Listen, I know there were a lot of hackers, but he thought everyone that killed him. Like literally, he thought. Just I get it because you were Nate shot, right? Like but he hadn't grinded that game much, dude. Yes. But dude, I was dying. He'd just be like, "This guy's gotta be full of shit." It'd be like those standard gunfights. This guy's gotta be full of shit.
Clint, we do that almost every other day.
Yeah, I know. I've been there. But it was, dude. I loved watching it. It was fucking comedy, bro.
But like,
you guys went, oh god.
I was gonna say about that year though, like about being stressful, bro. Dude, we had a blow up moment before that time though. Like after we went 0-5, it was like I'm sure they kind of alluded to before, but it was like super blow up moment. Like I literally like we got done with scrims one day. There was a screaming match like between everyone, and afterwards I was so like heated. I was like, I called Eric. I'm like, bro, Eric, I'm coming over. We need to talk. And so I go over to Eric's house and I'm like, bro, how are we gonna keep doing what we've been doing for like 2 stages, and like it not work? You know what I'm saying? Like trying to like play the same way of COD. Like I'm like, bro, if we can't, we're talking about, obviously you theorize all the time, every single day of how to play COD. If we, like, some of the best players in the world can't like put it together, is it a problem with us or is it a problem with the formula? So like I blew up and I'm like, bro, like the shit we're doing is like not right. Like it's not right. Like I'm switching up completely. And this is probably a small piece of the puzzle, but like I feel like this was super key for us, and the fact that like it was kind of like defying the odds of the fact that like, all right, like it hasn't gone well, but I'm not going to keep trying this system. Like we need to like completely switch up. And that's kind of like when the role swap happened afterwards. And I think like Cap kind of switched up like how he's coaching a bit. We switched up like what we were trying to like do on the map. And
When did Shane come in?
Toronto, right?
Yeah, right before the Toronto. Yeah, Shane coming in helped a bunch. And I feel like our one downfall as a team that like made us good, but what hurt us in certain moments is like just trying to be perfect, like looking too much at the little things. And Ken says it all the time. Like he knows, like I'm more about the big picture. I'm always, all right, well, we lost that hill, but the big picture, guys. And it's just like I'm trying to keep the team like the vibes up, or try to look at the good things more than always the bad. And it was just like a complete
the alt tabber, bro. The alt tabber.
Oh yeah, the alt tabber for sure. But it's a good and bad thing. But
Why do you take one step to your left here before you take a 75-degree angle cut over here?
but it's just like it was just a complete change, like going to the back end of the season. And then, like I said, after like all this went down, and then Major 3, like we knew, like we like in our head, like it was looking a little too good. I was like, yeah, it was like everything was so different. It was so different the second half of the season.
What did you place at champs? Like you got the top 32. Then what did you get MWII 2019?
Third.
And then what do you get in Cold War?
6th or 4th. I only won one match, I think.
Yeah, 5th, 6th. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine this win. I was just trying to think of like, I mean, the third and like top 6 isn't bad, but like
top 6 of 8 though.
Yeah, no, duh, yeah. So top 6 is ass. So like you hadn't really found a lot of success. I imagine just the win was just individually. I know the team stuff, but individually it's a big. Whew.
I never had a deep LAN run at champs because online in 2019, top 32 at GenG, didn't get out that fucking locker room, the bottom of UCLA.
Yeah, true.
And then
dude, that. Ugh.
And then obviously Cold War, we were in the same center that we did Vanguard at. But like I was there, like I said, I lost first match versus Toronto. them fuckers, dude. And then I beat, I don't know who I beat, dude. Minnesota or something. Losers. I don't know. New York. But yeah, so I never had a deep champs run. And obviously going to the Vanguard, like the OpTic one where we beat Boston in a close match to start.
That was probably your closest match, yeah.
Closest match by far. And then we beat
OpTic
3-0. Yeah, in a crazy fashion.
Yeah, that was rough. That was a
Did we
rough
cast
watch.
that one?
I don't know if we did.
And then did we 3-0 phase 2 or we 3-1 them? We 3-1 them. We 3-1 them.
What do you think was different in the mindset between like GenG when you were like top 2 and this team where you were very clearly on top, knew you were the best, but like
We probably won the win. The win was probably a big part of that, right?
Well, yeah, I think first or second, like you're doing something right. I feel like it's gotta be something just.
Yeah, I feel like it's
maybe like the coaching staff help.
Yeah, Cap, I feel like is obviously Cap and Ken were like obviously our main leaders like throughout practice and stuff. Along with myself, like a little bit, and then I think one thing just Cap just like I guess kind of taught me is the fact that in GenG it was more like, okay, let's play fundamentally good COD and make them work for it, you know. But sometimes they would work for it and it would like be good. But what happened to LA Thieves is we do the fundamentals right and make them work for it. But then after that, they'll fucking pay. Like they're gonna fucking pay. They just give us a 4 dead, like we're sprinting at you. Like that was the thing. There was like no mercy in a sense of
killer instinct type thing, kind of.
Yeah. So it's like we knew what to do on the map at all times. Like we perfected the game. And to like help that, like once we got a bunch of kills, bro, I'm running at you off spawn, like just killing you, like over and over and over again until you're losing by 150 points. Like then the map's over, and I think that's just that's the main difference. The fact that just there's giving them no room to breathe.
Yeah, I think one thing too that maybe people don't talk about, like your performance in the finals, especially your search, was you had so many clutches, like 1v1 clutches, like it was just nice.
Them underage years paid off, bro. Come on.
Underage years paid off. Like, it just felt like, I don't know, it's just like you're going up against Sim and Abizi.
On a keyboard and play like a guitar.
No, you were locked. You guys were just so far ahead. Especially your search there. The last couple events was just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the search is obviously, everyone says they win you championships, but I've been really good at search. The one bad thing I just feel not so bad about, but this last season was like my worst search year by far, and I'm not sure why. The Deddy thing, people will say, but it wasn't terribly bad by any means. But
I feel like the maps, though, too, limited someone like you a lot. Like,
yeah, I turned into the guy that, like, I was most comfortable, like, all right, well, I'm going to go plant the bomb every time because I've played thousands of tournaments and I know when the bomb needs to go down. Like, I'm not going to have to tell someone, yo, go plant the bomb. Like, all right, like, I'm going to tell my team, all right, the bomb's going to be down. Like, I know when to plant.
The bomb going down there was one central bomb site in MWII for the most part.
Yeah.
It was easy to plant in a lot of these situations. And, like, with the Deddy the way it was, having bomb down was huge because there's a good chance they didn't have Deddy, right? So. And
it kind of just was follow up on our Vanguard season where, like, Berlin, for instance, like, bro, the B was an easy bomb to get down if you could get inside the site. So, like, I default would take bomb, slide across the tank at B Berlin, and just get the bomb down. The round's over. Once you're in, like, post plant and our teammates are in depths of spawn, like, it should be a win.
Yeah.
So, like, that's just what I try to be most comfortable with. But I think it almost got too ingrained in my head because historically I'm known for just making a bunch of plays and doing that, which I did occasionally, but I wasn't probably as comfortable as I should have been with it this year than every other year.
So let's go into MW2. You guys have a pretty slow start. You guys obviously stick together. I'm sure that was an easy call. You guys have a slow start, but then you guys get second place, right? Major 2. And it feels like things maybe like that sort of Major 4 or Major 3 moment where, like, things are starting to come together maybe a bit, or did you guys still feel like you had a lot of work to do?
No, we felt like we had a lot of work to do, in my opinion. When we got second, I feel like FaZe was, like, just more clear cut, good at control and S&D, which it honestly could have went a different way because I'm pretty positive we got 1v3 by BZ 5-4 and then lost 6-5.
Okay.
On the Asila S&D, which would have pushed it to, like, a game 7, even if we lost that control.
Like 1v somethings this year, bro. Like,
yeah. Every single freaking finals basically ended on Asila S&D, Asila control, or vice versa. So we lost the Asila S&D to them at Major 2, getting 1v2, 1v3 when we could have just put it away, and then went into Asila control, which was by far our worst control. Like, they knew that. They played us in practice. Like, they vetoed whatever they vetoed. And
Fortress or something.
And we got slammed. Yeah, we got slammed. Yeah. So that was, like, no surprise to us. Our map was just horrible. I we definitely knew we could get to finals. Like, obviously we did it the last season, but, like, we didn't think we were necessarily ready for, like, all the maps that we had to be played.
That makes sense. Yeah. And then stage 3 is kind of where it's a bit of a mess. I think, like, Dries has a really off stage. You guys lose to Vegas at Major 3. I'm sure after getting second, you guys are probably head cases like, what the fuck happened? But then it turns around. You guys win Major 4. But I remember, like, everyone you guys talked about it, you're like, we still have a lot of work to do. Like, you just never felt as comfortable as you guys did, I think, in Vanguard.
First question to Kenny afterwards was like, is this like last year? Like, has it clicked? And he was like, nah.
Yeah.
No, we were as straight up as possible. And we looked like clowns probably afterwards because that was our peak of the year. But, like,
what's the champ scores?
Bro, we were going in.
Outro.
Yeah, we were going into that event losing every single scrim. Like the whole, like, thing that, like, Sam's talked about a bunch. Like, bro, we didn't beat OpTic in a map in, like,
a month. Not play for a while before that event?
Yeah, we had the whole cap thing too.
And stuff?
Yeah, we had that whole cap thing too. So it took us a little bit to settle back in, and, like, obviously record maybe got a little skewed from that, but I feel like that was, like, kind of minor. Maybe for Ken it was a lot bigger. Obviously sitting out, like, I haven't had to sit out yet, and hopefully I never have to do, but it definitely's got to change something with your game. Yeah, he couldn't play. He couldn't get on the PC. Like, he was, like, bedridden for however long it may be.
Vertigo or something.
Yeah, Vertigo.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like I said, we look like clowns looking back because that was our peak, but we truly knew that like the game didn't feel like how Vanguard felt. Like the Vanguard thing is, we knew every decision we made was like pretty much the right decision, and we were putting ourselves in good spots. Where the MW2 is like, did they spawn behind us? What just happened here? So, you never want to be that guy that makes the excuse of that sense, because obviously New York has a great grasp on the game, and they did the best all year because of it. But like, bro, MW2 was just like so fucked from a spawn point, and like some random shit would happen. But I guess it goes back to what I was saying about mitigating your losses. Like if you play the game fundamentally correctly, how it should be played, like you're gonna mitigate what can go wrong. And
well, talking like overall in the year, like, and take this for a grain of salt, but like your hardpoint and control, like overall records, like okay, like good enough to be a top team. It's just the search was like kind of 50-50. Like you just never like got to that point in search.
Until the end, right? I mean, then it was hardpoint that you guys couldn't win.
yeah, it was hardpoint we couldn't win.
Issue. It was like your guys' search turned into really good Major 5 in champs. I remember talking to you guys. You're like, our search is great. We're beating everybody. We just need to win one hardpoint, and that just didn't happen.
Yeah, I think the anomaly too that you see in Vanguard though was there was 4 maps, 4 S&D maps, 4 hardpoint maps. You knew what maps you're gonna play every series loaded in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna veto a map, I'm gonna veto a map, and we're playing the other 2. This one, obviously a bigger map pool. There's more maps. There's 13 maps instead of 11, and we just didn't have a grasp on the map pool like we did the other year before. Like the year before, we could play 3 out of the 4, and we could just veto the like bow cage every single time. This time, it's like, okay, well, we got to veto on matchup. Like, do you want to play whoever it may be on hotel? Like when it's our iffy map, like our middle of the pack map. Like everyone's gonna veto our good map in. Can't even think what our freaking good map is right now, but
your Major 5 looks comical, by the way, because you were 2-1 in hardpoint, 2-1 in search, 2-1 in control. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty fucking good. They're winning more of everything they're losing. But you 3-0'd someone, got 3-0'd.
Yeah, we're in losers, yeah. So you never put yourself in a good spot in losers. Yeah. But the map pool, I think, is just huge, and we just didn't have a good grasp on it this year. So.
Yeah, I think you saw that at champs because, like, especially in the hardpoint, you guys like played some Embassy, you played some Fortress. I felt like at times, like your Major 4 win, you guys were a really good Hydro team, like hardpoint team, and then you guys didn't play it as much. Like, I'm assuming due to scrims, like, or who you were playing, like.
Just every team goes through that, yeah.
You didn't know what to
play. We want to guess spawns, or we want to guess where somebody is underwater? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but the thing, like, it all happens every single year on every single team. Your best map turns into your worst map, but the teams that you play that stage have no clue because they don't scrim you, so they keep vetoing it. So people just veto Hydra for us for a whole stage, and then we got no match reps, and we were falling behind in practice, and then all of a sudden Hydra's our worst map. And we're like, Jesus, like that was our bread and butter. What happened? But like,
you realize like the first team pinning people from like P3, you guys like blocked the back, and you'd be all the way pushed out like P1, like pinning people across the map, like flipping them over to P4, like and then it just went away. It just felt you could just tell your hard point was.
We couldn't win a hotel. We couldn't win a hotel the whole year. Our hotel was losing by 20 points or. Whatever the whole year, we couldn't win Kitchen Hill. My KD in Kitchen Hill might have been so bad. I don't know how with the sub, but it was all a mess, bro. I mean, I still cherish like the whole year and like what we were able to do. We got a championship. Like it's still hard as hell to win, but you're just like you're gonna be chasing like the world championship, like what we tried to get before. Like there's no, you're not gonna fill that need unless we won another ring.
Tough.
You guys think you could have won one though? Like,
AR's not gonna retire on you next year, probably.
Like, you feel like there was a chance that last event, like.
Yeah, you take away Major 5, and maybe we just have a fear factor again going in. Like, that we just won back to, or we can go Major 4 to champs again and win. But
where did you pick them to go? Didn't we have them in like the fucking final or top 3 or something? Because we thought they'd make a run. I think we ended up having like top 3 because we were like the way it's set up. We're like they're making a run, bro.
Well, they just had a tough match versus Toronto first match, and
I'll tell you, Toronto's been my hard counter. Thank God. Shout out Toronto for picking me up. Goddamn.
that game is done. But we kind of talked about not the ending maybe you guys wanted, but still, as you said, you guys broke the champs curse. Sam retires, and now we can talk about the rest of Rostermania that sort of happened.
Yeah.
Boston's roster is completed. So it's Priestess, Slasher, Snoopy, and who am I missing? The other sub,
Capsule.
Yes.
Capsule.
That's for you, Dill. Like, I mean, everyone's kind of talked about the top 4 being the top 4.
Yeah.
Because your sub duos are insane. I mean, Clay's tweeted about it. Like, what subs do we build around?
Yeah, that was funny.
You could kind of tell like this team took the vets and Priesta, who is somehow not on his world championship team, and a young sub duo in Snoopy and Capsule.
Is Snoopy the real deal? Is that what it comes down to for you, kind of Envoy? Like, is he?
Yeah, I think it does. I think like obviously he played one event and he did like, I wouldn't say exceptionally well, but he did well for what it's worth.
Champs main stage, first fucking event. Like,
yeah, he seemed pretty cool, calm and collected. I never talked to the guy myself, but I mean, I guess a lot of it relies on him. You kind of know what you're gonna get out of the other 3. Cap, really good S&E player. Obviously filled in for us last year. Was on Florida. Really fast sub in your
really
face.
Good at the end of the year. That Florida team was solid, and he individually. He looked like his best form.
Bro, they were running us in practice. They were running everyone in practice. Before they were disqualified, or like not disqualified, but didn't qualify for champs, they were running everyone. I swear to God. I talked with Bruce and stuff, and I'm like, bro, has Florida been giving y'all a hard time? He's like, bro, they've been frying. I'm like, what? I was like, thank God I'm not the only one on this boat.
Methods, when he teamed with, I remember said like, you know, it's sort of like we'll win and lose by them, like live and die. Like the young guys will make incredible plays or like bonehead plays, and like I feel like Capsule probably being with like a Priest and a Slasher probably pretty helpful for him.
Not even from like last year, like playing with fellow.
100%. But like
I know it a little bit more.
He was a guy that was like, we're talking rookie of the year, the not on a roster type guy, and like it just feels like maybe a little nudge in the right direction, the right teammates. Like he could really just. Like we were literally talking about him like rookie of the year stats. Like that was a god making all these crazy plays. I'd be excited for him to kind of get back to that, but.
Yeah, I think a lot of like, regardless of like vets, I feel like are vocal or not, or people that have just been around for like a while, you pick up on like whether like the younger players want to admit it or not, you pick up on small things like day in, day out of practice or at like a tournaments. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be big things, but just like how to play the game, like and try to be as consistent as possible. Like there's a reason that, you know, Austin and Preston have been here for so long. Like they know how to play the game. They played it like a consistent way. And for the rookies that stay around, I'd say, or like the young guns that like, you know, solidify their spot in the league, like it's a big part of like picking up on all the people you've teamed with. Like something from like you learn lessons at every event, but like teaming with every single person and like knowing how to interact with them or how they play like teaches you a lot. And that's like kind of the whole thing too. Like when you play like former teammates, like you know what they're gonna do, like or you know how they play. I think that's just like super big for I guess like up and comers.
Random question. I'm curious. Like I hadn't really given this thought till just now, but like with Slasher, you know, early in the year with FaZe, he was kind of the scapegoat. He knew he would be. Like the stats weren't really there. I think he knew with the way the year was going, he was probably going to get dropped. He knew all along. Like if we don't win, I'm getting dropped. I'm not saying he like
dropped. It was probably just who was available. Like that's really probably what hurt Austin.
I'm not saying he like stat hoard, but like in the last couple of events, he kind of fucking fried. Like he was sort of in his bag when you come to like statistics and just actually putting up numbers. And I wonder if that was, I guess I just randomly thought if that was like I'm probably getting dropped, should probably put up some numbers so I'm getting out of their team, or if that was just sort of how the team was playing at the time.
He was just comfortable. I think he just talked about it. Literally think we kind of said like all the flexes that were available at the end of this year just put him into a tough spot. Like all the free agents. If it's his last year, maybe he's still on this team. Like 100%.
There's a difference though. Like if he had a 0.9 the last couple of events versus like a 1.2 like he was doing, is there any difference in how he gets the team next year? You don't think it matters?
I don't think it matters. I think it's more or less that like anyone that goes in that FaZe roster, just like if I'm that FaZe roster, anyone that joins, bro, play your game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just play what you know. And I think Austin like does that on most teams that he's on. Like he has the confidence himself.
Have to be.
But Austin just has that confidence himself. He's just like probably just playing his own game. Like I've never teamed with Austin. I've talked to him like a decent amount, but I get the vibe that he's just like doing his thing, you know?
Yeah. I always got the opinion he was my way or the highway, fuck you guys type thing early on, but
maybe on some teams. So Boston's done. And then OpTic obviously announced Pred Kenny joining alongside Shotzi and Dashi. Yeah, Pred, obviously we know the impact he will make. And I think Ken, I don't know if Ken thought he was going to be in this position. I don't know what position Ken probably thought he was going to be in. Maybe he thought he was going to be screwed. But he's probably ecstatic that he's on this roster. Because I'm sure after he knows you're going to Toronto, he knows Zach's going somewhere, potentially OpTic, potentially FaZe. He just kind of is like, maybe hit them up, but obviously AR Ken. I guess, how do you see this roster kind of performing? How do you see Ken fitting in with OpTic?
I think Ken will do his thing. I think Ken is similar to me in the fact that like he's just going to do whatever it takes to win.
Mm-hmm.
He don't care about dropping the numbers. He don't care about anything but winning and doing whatever it takes. And I think he obviously helped our team. Like, is very known that like he's probably the most vocal in practice alongside Cap, and that's probably what OpTic needs, is someone that's just gonna not get in their head, but like like I don't know how to say it, but like be on their asses, I guess. Be on their asses about making all these right plays and doing, I guess, like what historically hasn't been done.
Probably for a while,
yeah. Even like I want to say like I tried to help when I was there, but like it's never gonna click until it clicks. Like I don't know, like until you find the right pieces that work. Like and especially
you're the type of person not to always push it. Like Ken, I feel like he's a person who's like, no matter what, as we talked about, like he's gonna look at the VOD. Yo, dude, what are you doing here? Like what
he's straight up
doing here?
He's straight up about it.
It's just fucking stupid. Like, so yeah, I agree. I'm actually really excited because I think they needed someone like Ken for sure.
Yeah, I think otherwise the whole team, top to bottom, solid. Yeah. I mean, you know what you're gonna have everyone else. I think just Ken is gonna play the important role of like getting everyone on the same page, just like he did with us.
At all for you in the sense of like when I think of like the ultra change, it's just very logical to me. You slot in, that team keeps doing its thing. FaZe draws it in, Cell needed to be a main AR, like that just makes a shit ton of sense. I guess this team, it looks like a super mega all-star squad, but I mean, they're going to be good no matter what. Yeah. Like, just with that talent, they're going to be very good, but they could be the best team in the game or like a top 4 team. There's potential there because we just haven't seen this all meshed together. Whereas I think like you talk of the big 3 right now with you, FaZe, and them, like they're probably the biggest, I guess, question mark just because it's a lot more changing. I think.
Yeah, it's 2 people instead of 1, right? Like not filling in. Yeah, I just obviously time will tell. Yeah, Ken and AR again. Time will tell. They always do the preseason rankings and stuff, and I'm here for all of it. But at the end of the day, like sometimes people show up, sometimes they don't, and the expectation is just insane for like every supporter fan of every team wants their team to be first or second every single event, and you just have bad events. You have bad events, you have bad weekends, bad online matches, and that's just like the name of the game. So you can try to be as consistent. Yeah,
that's what he gasses so much. Like people call me a dick writer for FaZe, but like that, it's insane. The top 3 for like 4 years. It's
unheard of. That's why I was even talking to Zach, and he's like, "Bro, should I go to FaZe or should I go to OpTic?" I'm like, "Bro, if you don't go to FaZe, you might be the biggest idiot I've ever met." Because they could tell me I'm running main AR, I'm going to FaZe. Like, yeah, yeah, like I'll figure it out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. All the teams look really solid. It just comes down to the weekend, or once we get there, how the game is, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you talk about all the teams looking solid. I think about 5 are looking solid. The other 7, I guess maybe you add in the Heretics. We don't really know. We say it every podcast. I don't know where you build, how you build. I don't know what the other 6 are going to look like.
Yeah.
It's like we lost a.
This is where some of the friendship shit comes in. No cap.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The tier kind of shrunk, right? Like you used to have kind of sort of 4 powerhouse sort of teams. Like with Thieves breaking up, it's sort of become like these 3, like Ultra FaZe and OpTic,
in New York.
Kind of like your top teams in New York. Yeah, I wonder who's gonna fill the void, because somebody always kind of rises up. Like who it's gonna.
Yeah, someone will rise up. One of those teams may not perform. Then but the rest are literally you are gonna have some weird looking teams. Like that's just the way.
In New York though, they're just making a change. Like they were good at 1 game. Like I don't know. Like they should be good, but I don't know if I have them. They don't have first in my fucking power rankings going into week 1.
It's gonna be weird. We might see a lot of like EU rookies coming in for the first time in a while. Like picked up at the beginning of the season. So obviously people are just speculating on like, the players, but maybe the first time in a while we've had a lot of EU rookies join the scene again.
We're not playing maps in night or in the fog or some shit. No.
Yeah.
AI, it's AV8, 4 AI, 4 players. Like, who the fuck knows where we might go?
I don't think we'll be doing that, Clint. I don't think we're doing that. All right. So that's
Yeah, you
the
say
end
that.
of Rostermania until more shit happens. Now we have security questions. That's the last thing, and then we will let you go on your merry way.
I'm having too much
You've been
fun.
amazing,
Why?
You've been amazing. You've been amazing.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you taking time out of your day.
It's easy though,
yeah,
right?
bro.
Just chat shit, bro. It's so fun to just chat COD with like, I love it, man.
Bro, it's
This
great.
first one I think is from someone in your stream, Yami.
Oh God.
You promised us in your Twitch chat you'd do a cartwheel live on main stage if you ever won a championship, but you still didn't do one.
I don't think I said that.
That's just a lie.
No, I think I said that, but dude, yeah, I'm so doped up there. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, I'm down to do the cartwheel.
I love the Twitch chat, but I mean the cartwheel might have to be next time.
Multiple of these questions, by the way, multiple. Like,
yeah, they all my mods and my chatters, they be backing each other up. I gotta respect it. I love them though. I love them.
Renato moment.
Yeah, you're not wrong. This next one is a two-parter, and I think you kind of talked about this. Your former teammates, what will they do well to improve their new rosters? I guess you talked about Ken and what he will do. I guess what do you think is the biggest thing for draws with FaZe?
Obviously, FaZe has always been good at S&D, so draws is just gonna excel their S&D probably even more.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like to say on our team, he's like the X factor. Like he's gonna if not necessarily if he fries it, you're gonna win, but he's that guy that if he's frying, like he's in your face, he's making plays in S&D, he's making plays on the map, he's being that ratty person that's just annoying to deal with. People joke about the whole him and Cell snaking thing. Like it's no joke that like probably besides Cell, Zach is up there top 3 with Cell or top 2, like one of the hardest kills on the map.
Yeah, he doesn't mind pissing people off.
Yeah, so I think that is like another strong suit they're just adding. Is just like, bro, he's gonna be a hard kill. Like what you're gonna deal with Zach. Like what you're getting out of him, and I mean he's gonna bring some new ideas. Like all these people.
We've talked about like FaZe maybe missing like a heel, like someone who to like I don't know, maybe get in their comms like, dude, like you're the fucking best. Like, if
yes,
maybe
literally.
That, I think like he's probably gonna help that a lot, right?
He brings all the confidence in the world to like his teammates and stuff. Like you make a godlike play, like you're hearing it from Zach. And then I think just like, bringing every player that switches teams, like you're just going to bring what you know from a different team. So obviously we had a lot of our right pieces that worked here, and I expect that him will just try to fit in and add some more stuff to whatever existing system that they have.
And then Zach also wants to know, what do you think your best skill set is that takes Toronto to the next level?
Probably just my intangibles, I guess. It's kind of like a super general thing, but I feel like as I've proved over the last like 4 or 5 years of me playing, that I'm just here to do whatever it takes to win. We kind of mentioned like throughout the podcast a couple times, or I did, that I've done a lot of different teams for all the different things for all the teams I've been on, played a lot of different play styles, and I think here's gonna be no different. I'm gonna be just free to do what I know how to do best. Just play my game and hopefully just excel the team to a new level and we get ourselves a ring.
Well, and you've been in so many different teams now, right? Like you're going to have a whole bunch of ideas yourself to kind of maybe improve that camp or learn from them. Like they've always been a very chill vibe, like just sort of like you listen to the comms, just very calm, collected. Like I'm sure you'll fit in well. This last one is from T Brown, and he just wants to know first impressions of Toronto, the city, and how the org is so far.
The org's great. I mean, I feel like you don't see much content of like their facility or whatever. They have like their in-person events, but if you don't go, I don't think you would know much. But being at their facility, it's amazing. It's actually really spacious. Tucked away in Toronto. I'm going to be living probably 10, 15 minutes from there. And the facility's sick, bro. Facility's sick, city's sick. We've been there twice now for their events. So I'm hoping we get another event there this coming year.
Me too.
Get to be a part of a home event, and what we chatted about before, Toronto's just a cool city to go to. It's really great for the time you're being there, and it's just a new chapter, man. I feel like I've gotten blessed that I'm going to be living that. I lived in Dallas, or I guess Frisco, now LA, and now Toronto. So like you can't ask for really
Pretty dope.
any
Yeah.
better locations. I've lucked out in that sense.
Central, West, you getting it all.
Yeah,
I'm getting everywhere.
the vibes. All right. I mean, last thing I guess is yeah, kind of if you want to shout out where people could find your content, where you're streaming at, what those links are.
Yeah, not a stream often, but Dylan Envoy and everything. I want to end this off though. One thing though, I think we need to bring back boot camps this year. We kind of touched on it early. I've been trying. I tried last year with Thieves. I'm trying this year with Toronto, but I think whether the league helps or the teams collaborate together, I feel like it's a missing piece of content that we used to have back in the day, and an experience that like I guess a lot of the rookies are like. We haven't had that feeling in a while. It's weird with PC now because you can't like just plug in and play from LAN. You have to have like a server cart and everything. But I feel like this is, if teams are interested, hit me up, hit up Toronto, hit up, let's get this thing rolling.
With all the teams in Dallas that it hasn't happened yet. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So many, was there like 6 or so, maybe more in Dallas? Like that hasn't been a thing. But I guess online is
since COVID, it hasn't happened. Since COVID, it hasn't happened. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to end on. But I'm just saying. I think if the league wants more content, the teams want more content.
I'm all in. I'd love that.
Yeah.
I would love it.
I think a boot camp is where we go.
Yeah.
But I appreciate y'all having me on.
No. Listen, I thought you were, even when I didn't really know you were a cheating little bitch. I thought you were. I was so impressed with when you first came on Hot Mic. I'll never forget it. Like you were so well spoken and just eager and happy to be there. And listen, I've been a big fan since day one. You're an absolute beast. You're a fantastic guest. So first and foremost, thank you. I hope you have a marvelous day. Good luck with the move. Good luck with the team. I think we're excited for both. I don't know what you guys are up to tonight, but I have to make a choice. I'm either going to go try to beat that shithead Uber Lilith on Diablo. I'm going to start Boulder's Grade K3, where apparently I can have sex with a bear or a druid or something, which sounds insane. Okay. Or I'm going to listen to my fantasy sexual romance novels, which have really just kind of piqued my interest lately. They get kind of wild.
You have an eventful night going on.
See ya.
Later, man.